Well, good morning everyone from Osteoarthritisville, and where do I start today's video? Do I start with these 4 AIRFIX new tool Buccaneers, the completion of a dream, the final formulation of the Navy current buccaneering flight, which is with the Tomcats bringing back power and making the Malagasy carriers great again? Or do I talk about the bunnies whose escape antics caused major hip problems and have now had to have a Category A detention facility? Or do I talk about my son's toys, Foxy and Foxy? Well, I think...
And okay. Also make a huge shout out to Lankybox, right, Boxy?
Okay, a huge shout out to Lankybox. Thank you. And as you can tell, someone has an inset day today. Now, this is the culmination of a dream. These 4 Buccaneers represent the new tool AIRFIX product, and it is an absolutely fantastic kit. It has only one major issue, and that is that this seam here is quite difficult to deal with. And as I've built the models and got a bit better, I've got a bit better at dealing with that, but it still could do some more work. So if you're into rivet counting, yep, you can knock me off for that one. Otherwise, the kit is absolutely brilliant, and these are finished in the Ghost grey scheme. And there's an interesting mix here of early block and late block aircraft. Now, there's 9 Buccaneers on the new supercarriers, the 80,000 ton supercarriers, 4 of which are strikers. 5 of which are strikers and 4 are jammers. They're essentially the growler version of the Buccaneer EA.1 I'm calling it, and they have this ANALQ-99A jamming system. Now, over time, this system is becoming obsolete and a liability, so the Malagasys in true WHATIF fashion will just be upgrading the internals. Why build a new aircraft? The aircraft are covered in the jamming aerials, and we have late block here and the late block striker here, and we have an early block jamming aircraft here and an early block striker here. Now, I don't know what I was doing or whether I messed up the kits, but the late blocks have the South African slipper tanks, and the early ones have the British slipper tanks, which works out quite well because the late block, of course, is an evolution of the product. And I've done 2 as they would be sat on a carrier deck or maybe a naval air station. The Malagasy Naval Air Station for the carriers is called Malagasy Naval Air Station Danger Zone. I wonder why. Basically, the Malagasy carriers are large enough that you don't have to fold the air brakes or the radome in for the elevators. They're big enough anyway. The main difference, what makes this Buccaneer possible, is a complete rework using modern materials, composites, titanium, resparring them all, dealing with the quality issues that were inherent in the S1 to S2 adaptations, and most importantly a new power plant called the Spey 10 power plant, which is a joint South-Rop development of the TF41 or Spey engine. Now, when you talk about re-engineering and what if, I'm really being helped by AI, because you can't just put any engine into the Buccaneer. It has to be one that fits the size, fits with what it needs. And of course, the Buccaneer has blown flaps, so you need a bleed system. Not every engine has that. So doing the Spey for more power, these are 14,000 pound 400 pounds, so 14,400 pounds of thrust Spey 10 engines. Keeps your bleed system there, it keeps the dimensions the same, and it gives the Buccaneer a large increase in useful power. Redoing the wing spars, redoing the airframe, zero timing it all, gives you the opportunity with that extra power to carry 6 hard points, stronger wing fold mechanisms. Now, the stores that you put on the outer portion of the wing is still quite light. Here we've got 2 Israeli Delilah pop-up suppression of enemy air defence cruise missiles, and here we've got an AIM-9X and a Delilah. Now, the Delilah weighs 187 kilograms, so it's a light store, and the Buccaneers pylons can each carry 3,000, so I'm carrying considerably less here. The jammer one I've already covered in another video, but in summary, the jamming equipment is also in the bomb bay, which is a great place to put new pieces of jamming equipment as it comes online. And the new strike aircraft, as opposed to the original strike aircraft, now features EOTS, which is an electro-optical targeting system there at the front, and that gets rid of the need to hang sniper pods and stuff like that on the underside of the engine access panels, which are a bit of a maintenance nightmare. And this is carrying two ADM-141 MALDs. Now these are slightly dated, but they're perfectly suitable for my WHATIF needs, and a piece of the kit has come detached there, the piping, so I'll have to refit that. But the MALD is perfect for the SAM systems that my WHATIFians are going up against in the region. There is of course the ADM-160 MALD, but the MALD is like a powered cruise missile which takes on the features, radar and electronic signature of a jet. So you force the enemy air defence to come online, and then if you've got the Delilah in the air, it takes them out. Now we know how effective the Israelis have been with their suppression of enemy air defence role in their 10-day spat with Iran, which the Americans wisely intervened and ended, I think wisely for both parties, because they're on a road to a really bad place. But suppression of enemy air defence, you've got to get the radars on to be exposed. Once you've got them exposed, things like the Delilah, it's worth having a look at, take it out. Now, of course, this Buccaneer here, this striker, has got the AGM 88E harm, which is now being replaced by the new, essentially G model. The technology is developing and developing and developing. This one carries an extended jamming pod here, because of course this is dangerous work. And what these 9 Buccaneers on the carriers do, the reason there's 9 is there's one spare, one striker spare, is that they create a corridor into the enemy air defence zone, and through that corridor you then push your main strike package, whether that's long range standoff cruise missiles like the Tomahawk, much in the news, or whether it's air launched ballistic missiles like Air Laura, or your long range strike weapons like Popeye, the AGM-142. You don't really now want to push planes into that corridor. You can do, but the days of direct bombing are kind of over, really, in a way. And even the Russians have adapted to that with their unguided glide bombs. So what these enable the Navy to do is create that corridor to push the strike in, minimising the risk to the pilots. And for my Navy, that would be using the F-32 low observable platform and the X-47B drone, which I'm calling the MQ-47B, which is not exposing crew to risk to deliver the strike on target. And that's why everything really in the suppression of enemy air defence and destruction of enemy air defence role is going to standoff capability. And by fitting these Growler Buccaneers with the Delilah, and even this early block Growler carries the Delilah, that's giving you the standoff range. It's basically an alarm with a jet long range cruise missile. A small warhead, but very, very precise. And then obviously you've got your shooters there with the harm, and using standoff weapons like the Jassau, a joint standoff weapon there, glide bomb, 1,000-pound warhead, to target the enemy positions. Now, a word on stands. I use Butler stands extensively. I'm not sponsored. This is their larger based stand, which is really good because it's a nice stable thing. And the stands come in a range of heights, and here we've got a Buccaneer at medium level and a Buccaneer at high level. So they don't really do a Buccaneer at low level, which would be kind of down here somewhere, but Buccaneer at medium level, Buccaneer at high level. So yeah, that enables me to model basically 2 landed, parked up, and then 2 in the air, going out to cause some bad actors a bad headache. Now, where on earth did I get all the jamming equipment and jamming pods? Well, the Academy EA.1 kit contains double the amount of components that you need. So if you want this jamming equipment for around £20 to do these kind of conversions on any aircraft that you may want to convert. I'm not sure if anyone else is mad enough to do WHATIF Buccaneers in the 21st century with growling jamming equipment. But if you want it, get the Academy EA.1 kit, and you can still build an FA-18 EF at the end of it, which is really cool. I have used some of the spare pylons here to replace some of the original Buccaneer pylons because they look better. They're rated for better weights, and yes, when the wings are down, they do put it very low to the deck, but it does just work. So there we go. Take care. Goodbye.